All right, we are back. Welcome back to ND Ice. I'm your host, David Trinka, alongside Ian Iverson and Lincoln Retzloff, as usual. And if you're wondering why we are vibing right now, it's because the United States of America are your world champions from the Olympics in Milan. Uh, uh, let's get right into that. I mean, wow, what a game for both the ladies and the men's. Uh, I didn't. I USA women's had just an unbelievable run in the Olympics. Got scored on once in the first game, when got shutouts in like the next 5 games, and then got scored on once against Canada. Only let in 2 goals. I think their goal differential was 33 goals for to 2 goals against in the entire tournament. Just an unbelievable stretch for the American ladies as they won gold in overtime. Was it Morgan Keller who scored the goal?
Megan Keller.
Megan Keller, sorry. Uh, Megan Keller with the golden goal put USA over Canada for the first time since 2018. Their third gold medal ever in the Olympics. And then obviously the men. What can we say about the men? Like went in since the last episode. I don't even know if they had played in the quarterfinals yet. They played the quarterfinals Wednesday, didn't they? Against Sweden the day before we recorded. Beat Quinn Hughes with just an unreal goal, electric goal to send him to the semis against Slovakia. They kind of dogged on Slovakia. USA almost got just swapped their quarterfinal, semifinal opponents. Like as in USA played a harder team in the quarters than in the semis. Slovakia very good, but uh, and then USA went and played Canada. Just one of the best games I've ever seen in my life. Not in terms of like the team you're cheering for's performance, but just on the edge of your seat all game long. They delivered in dramatic fashion, obviously. Uh, who had the first goal? Matt Boldy walked in all alone and put it through. He walked in through the arguably the best deep pair in the entire world. Cale Makar and Devon Tays, and then Cale Makar had a tying goal late in the second period, and then the third period is like, come on, boys, like we got to get something going. We were on our heels the whole second and third period, and Connor Hellebuck, what can you say about him? The UMass Lowell alum, just stood on his head all game and carried the United States. Maybe the best save I've ever seen in my entire life, paired with, I mean, you go in overtime. Lincoln, you and I were watching it together. We're just shitting bricks. Pardon my French. When you got arguably the three best players in the world on the ice for overtime against your team in McKinnon, McDavid, and Makar, like you're getting sweaty. We thought it was so over, and then obviously Jack Hughes got high sticked in the third period, breaks his tooth, and then goes and scores the golden goal for the United States. Just an unbelievable moment for hockey in this country. A big moment, arguably, for the entire country as a whole, which we'll get into a little bit. There's some drama and politics going around, floating around about the event, and just hats off to U.S. men, just unbelievable. I can't believe I didn't think we were gonna. I thought there was a chance, but I did not think we were gonna sweep gold in hockey. Just what an Olympics for the United States. I think they had the most. This is the most gold medals that they've ever won at a Winter Olympics. So hats off to them. Obviously, Jake Sanderson, Brock Nelson, both UND alums on that team, winning gold, and then Britta Curl, Bismarck Blizzard alum. I think she went to Bismarck Century, not Century. She went to St. Mary's, or I think, and played Wisconsin. Obviously, plays in the PWHL for Minnesota right now, and just what a resume for her. I think she got 4 state titles in North Dakota high school hockey. I want to say 3 national titles for Wisconsin, and a couple as a captain of Wisconsin. And then she already has a PWHL championship under her belt there, and now a gold medal. So good for her. Uh, Lots to talk about here with the Olympics. Do you guys want to go right into that, or do you? Yeah, let's do that first. Who wants to
Yeah, it
start?
was really fun to watch, especially the gold medal game. Getting up early for that, it was just exciting to to see it happen. You kind of I didn't think they were gonna the men's team. The women's team was rolling out tournament. I wasn't really that surprised they won. It was really cool seeing them win in OT. With the men's team, I just wasn't sure if they were going to be able to get it done against Canada, and Canada pretty much dominated them most of the game. But literally, that's goaltending, and I think it speaks to a bigger thing that the United States has just done such a better job at developing players, and I'm not talking necessarily forwards because that Canadian forward group is the best forward group we've ever seen assembled. But just having it just goes to show that when you have a good goaltender and you have
Yeah.
defensemen, that's everything, you know. Um, and I think you can point a lot of that towards just the way I like to I like to point a lot of it towards college hockey. College hockey's you're spending a lot of time in the weight room studying film, and yes, you're playing less games, but you're developing really good defense and goaltending, and that's what won it for America. So, yeah, it was a great win for the country on Sunday, and yeah,
Yeah, what a moment. Like you said, Jack Hughes gets in that interview and has nothing to say about himself. Just you can't. It's just one of the most electric things I've ever seen. You talk about last year at the Four Nations where the USA was getting booed and they come out with that fight and everything, and then touch to go and win it this year. And Jack Hughes just an electric interview talking about just how much playing for USA means to him. I honestly think USA in the Olympics for hockey is like the best Olympic. It's one of if it's one of the best all Olympic sports to watch. Team, I would say arguably the best team sport to watch. Just the way they compete. Obviously, it's the best on best in this tournament this year. And there's not a whole lot of other sports out there that are team sports where it's the best on best playing each other and uh, other countries are really, really good. Like obviously basketball is best on best, but there's only I would say a handful of countries that are good, and USA is always favored to win that. And hockey, there's just so many good teams that can win. Usually it comes down to USA and Canada, but Sweden won in 2006. Finland won 2022. Albeit that wasn't with the best on best, but any team can win. There's so many good hockey countries out there. You see with the World Juniors and just an electric moment to be just a great day to be an American. There was nothing that was going to ruin that day for me, honestly. But Ian, what do you got to say about it? What did it mean to
A
you?
lot of Canadian tears. It was good to see. Funny to watch Canada's reaction to it, and especially Nathan McKinnon, who right away says, "You be the judge of who was the better team," as if he didn't completely whiff on a wide open net that probably would have won Canada the game. So that was to me, I loved that part, and just all the coping done,
Yeah,
complaining about the 3-on-3 and
that was gold. I mean, silver. Just kidding.
best losers. Um, no, I mean the thing that you really appreciate about hockey is unlike the rest of our major sports in America, I mean, Jack Hughes could have taken the credit and he could have, talked about how, his rookie season, the way it went, and then the Four Nations being pretty much invisible and how he was able to pull it off and win the gold. But it was immediately about, I'm so proud to play for this country. I love this country. Like I couldn't have done it without the support of this country.
This is
You don't,
everyone back for everyone back home. Yeah.
yeah, you don't see that in any other sport, especially basketball. I mean, the NFL, you don't see a lot of that either. And
Yeah.
baseball, I mean, they don't really compete internationally, but hockey is kind of the one sport where country really goes above
You
all.
compete
Um,
internationally your entire life. Yeah.
yeah, so that was great to see, and of course, the dumb liberals have to ruin it like everything else because they take an out of context phone call that wasn't supposed to get out to the public, and they want to make their own assumptions on that without any sort of pretext as to what happened. And
Mm-hmm.
of course, they're upset about the FBI director being there, who not only played hockey his entire life growing up, but also coached a team in DC a few years ago and competes in congressional hockey tournaments and does all that. So, I mean, he was already there in the first place. And so they just invited him to the game since he was already in Italy.
Mm-hmm.
And it's sad that
They can't get a
something
win.
so,
You can't
yeah,
win in
it's,
this
it's
country
sad that
sometimes.
something so amazing is just being discredited because of the current administration. I mean, you can be as far right or as far left as you want, but celebrate the country when they win. Yeah, it's just
Right.
it is so silly to me that you know the woke figure skaters that win the gold. We're all for supporting them, but a couple of hockey guys who mentioned talking about going to the White House once on a podcast all of a sudden get booed. So
Just dumb.
it is very
Like
dumb.
it's tradition. It's not even like you when you win a big title, whatever, if you want to do, if you don't want to go, whatever. But if they want to go, so what if they want to go? I mean, in 1980 when they won, the president called them and then after the game and the president they went and visited the White House. That's what happens. And I could have told you that the US women's team was not going to visit just because, women in sports usually, they tend to be, it's not all of them, but they tend to be more liberal and left leaning. I could have told you that none of them were going to go. Um, it's just how some women in sports are, or like not necessarily just women in sports, but you know how it is. Like I could have told you they're not going to go. There's a lot of them, especially with how all the hate Britta Curl gets for being, Christian and conservative and whatever. I could tell you that, she gets hate for that even. They're not going to go. That's just how it is. There's so many, uh, I don't know. People, I don't know if I want to, like, I would say just members of the LGBTQ community. There's someone in that sport, and obviously those people don't usually align with, definitely not with Trump. And there are a lot of people that don't align with Trump, but yeah, I mean, you just go to the White House. That's how it goes. And yeah, hockey is just a sport where it means a lot to these guys because they're competing for their country as young as like 15, and they do it. And that's one thing I think is beautiful about hockey. There's so many international tournaments at every age where you get to represent your country and it's cool. And if I went into gold, I want to go to the White House. I just want to go to the White House and see the White House. It's not even necessarily who it is. It's the president sitting. I would go if anyone was the president, honestly. Just seeing the White House and being a part of that, it's such a great honor. So it's tough to see that happen. And then Jake Gensel refused to go to the White House. And a lot of people think that's because they take it out of context. He had to report back because he's got a game tomorrow. So, people are cheering him on because he refused to go to the White House when it's probably just because he's got to report back for his team. So, and it might not be that reason, but people take everything out of context. It's hard to get a win in this country, it seems like sometimes. But um, yeah. Anyone else got to say about anything about USA, Lincoln?
Yeah, I thought this is kind of unrelated, but I saw the NHL posted a tweet of Dylan Strome and his daughter, and a bunch of people flooded the comments and started calling him a bunch of names and whatnot. And just for context, Dylan Strome is not even an American, nor did he even play on the Canadian roster. And a bunch of the group we're talking about, left leaning hockey fans, went into his comment section and started ripping on him, even though he had literally nothing to do. So that just goes to show what's going on. It's just sad that you can't enjoy. Um, the first they just wanted people are just looking for a
Right.
reason to rip on the hockey players, and it's sad. I just think it's a miserable way to live if you're trying to tear down someone for
Such a beautiful
representing their.
moment.
It's just I don't get it. I don't know how people live their lives like that. Just so
Yeah.
upset all the time. Like it's
Find it.
pathetic.
Find negative things out of everything. You can choose to live your life that way, or you can choose to find positive in everything. And
Yeah.
uh, it's a shame, as it's such a just there are there are people out there that do appreciate what this moment means to everybody, like to people. It's such a terrific moment. 46 years in the making since they won last gold. It just means so much to not only just hockey fans, but us as a country. It's a way to unite us. And, these kids play their heart out for just to represent the red, white, and blue. And I think that's so prideful and it makes me so, it's so patriotic. It just makes me so happy to be an American. And, like you said, Lincoln, there are people out there that are going to choose violence over that. They're going to choose hate over that. And, do what you want at the end of the day. You be whatever makes you happy, I guess. But
Nothing like hating the country where you have any first world problem and the ability to voice your complaint for the country. There's nothing like
mhm.
hating it and flying the flags of other countries that you would never go to. So
And it's usually all the people that just don't watch sports. They don't care. They don't care at US won gold, so they're just gonna shit on it. Like let us have our thing.
Well, they
Like
watched heated rivalry and they expected professional hockey to be the exact same. So, are we really surprised?
hardly any hockey in there. It's just all yeah. Anyway. Uh all right, weekend recaps. What did everybody do? I'll start just because I usually don't. Let's get it out of the way. Went downtown on Friday after the game, had some fun. Got had a little too much fun actually. Got back kind of late. Hit legs in the morning, and I was still like drunk when I hit legs. It was the worst workout I've ever had in my life. Never done that. Don't I would not recommend it if you're curious what it's like working out drunk. It's not very fun. Just walking around the track upstairs trying not to throw up after I was done lifting. It was the worst lift I've ever had. Uh, then obviously went to the game, had fun there, went downtown, whatever. Tried not to stay up late, ended up staying up late. Got 4 hours of sleep before the USA game. Got up at 7. Turned it on, watched the Boldy goal. Boldy goal. Went out in the living room to watch the fellas, and then got some stuff done after that. So just rolled that high. I'm gonna ride this USA win high for a month until we go to the Frozen Four. So uh, it's gonna be insane. It's gonna be a lot of fun. But Lincoln, what'd you do this weekend, buddy?
Yeah, pretty much just went to the games. Obviously went out. Well, actually, I was. That's not true. I was sick on Friday,
Hmm.
which kind of sucked. But then I miraculously recovered in about a day, so I was able to go out Saturday. Ended up having a good weekend, and then woke up and watched the Olympic Games Sunday. So, yeah, all in all, stuck being sick on Friday, but ended up
Right.
being not a bad weekend. So,
Yeah. Glad you're feeling better. And it was weird just to go back to that the goal when we were watching in the living room. Like you didn't couldn't even tell it went in. It was like a Patrick Kane goal where he didn't know if it went in or not until the announcer said it was in. Because we were like stood up and like, did it go in? And then we were like, it was cool. Anyway, Ian, go ahead, buddy. What'd you do?
Friday night I watched the game, and obviously we lost. And I think in the last four, we were 3-0 when I've not watched, and 0-1 when I have watched. So I probably should not watch this weekend. Um, Saturday I couldn't watch the game on hockey; wasn't working,
It's a sad stat line, bro. I'm sorry.
and it's okay. Um, Probably for the best. Anyways, Saturday I did that, and then Sunday I went to church, and I
Not a
was
boy.
tracking the game during church. So I'm
Oh,
Lord, I'm sorry. I was watching the game during church.
what'd you do when they
Um,
won?
I had a little mini one of these where it's prayer, and I was watching the game.
Anybody else do anything, or is anyone else watching it or anything?
No, but everybody was talking about it right after church got out. Everybody's like, USA
Okay,
just won. So it was good.
that's
I
sick.
had a productive Sunday and started this week pretty hard. So I will be up in Fargo on Saturday.
Oh,
I played high school basketball with a buddy who now plays for NDSU.
oh,
And so he's giving me a ticket to the UND NDSU game this Saturday. So I'll be there. Try to catch the game either when I'm driving up Friday or if I drive back Saturday, I'll throw the game on and listen to it. So looking forward to it.
nice. That'd be a lot of fun. Um, yeah, that being said, let's get into the recap of the UND St. Cloud State series. So, obviously, UND hosted St. Cloud State for their senior weekend, their last home weekend of the year in the regular season. They needed 5 points to close out the Penrose. They ended up only getting four, which is unfortunate. Um, UND scored first on Friday. Josh Zakreski in his first game back. Congratulations to him. Huge shout out. Only 2 minutes and 20 seconds in probably his first shift. Scores assists from Will Zellers and Ellis Rickwood. Then Ingram scored for St. Cloud State to tie it later in the first. And then Will Zellers took the lead pretty much a minute and a half later. Assist from Ellis Rickwood and Abram Weeb. And then Austin Bernovic tied it up again about 20 seconds later. Austin Bernovic came out in the second period and scored again to take the lead. And then Damian Gardner took a 2 goal lead about halfway through the second period. USA looked to come out like they always do in the third period and try and win it. Uh, they were able to score early in the third, just like they did against Miami. Cody Kroll from Ellis Rickwood, and then Will Zellers had the tying goal late with the empty net extra tacker, right? There was an extra tacker, wasn't it?
Yep.
Will Zellers from Cole Reshney, Abram Weeb. And then they went to a shootout, and no one scored for you, North Dakota. Everyone scored for St. Cloud State, so UND didn't get the extra point there. Left that game with 1 point. Not a bad way to lose, honestly. We got the tie in NCAA. If we're gonna lose, you may as well get the tie, and then whatever. For Saturday night, St. Cloud State came out, scored 2 minutes in. Gavin Thorson, Abram Weeb scored 2 minutes later to tie it up. Then Max Swanson answered back 20 seconds later. And then Ollie Josephson got a power play goal 4 minutes after that. Then Tanner Hendricks uh, put them back within one with about a minute 40 seconds left in the first period. Then they came out and tied it. A minute and 30 in. Gavin Thorson again. Tyler Young took the lead. And then Adam Ingram tied it up with about 9 minutes left. And then Jack Kernan in the third period. UND again looking to win the game in the third period, and they got 2 goals. One from Jack Kernan and one from Ellis Rickwood. So UND won 6-4 and secured 4 points on the weekend out of 6. Not a bad weekend by any means. Singleton obviously a gritty team and better than they probably are ranked in their record shows. But yeah, UND 4 points on the weekend. They needed one to close out. Now they need one to close out, and win the Penrose or a share of it still. Uh, yeah. Anyone want to go into the recap of the series?
Probably the most abysmal shootout I've ever seen by UND.
Yeah, it was not
No,
great.
no disrespect to those guys, but it was tough to watch.
Lillard missed the net, and then I don't even remember what the second shot looked like.
Zellers just fanned on it, I guess. It was just a little
Oh boy.
blooper right into his pad. Yeah, Littler, I guess, fanned it like 15 feet wide. But I don't know. I think St. Cloud definitely played their best weekend of the year. They looked like a really good hockey team. It's a little concerning that now, for I would say 5 or 6 games in a row, we've come out slow. That's not something you want coming tournament time. Thankfully, throughout that, we've gone 4-1-1, which just shows that this team is kind of a level above everybody else in the conference, besides, probably Western Michigan. Um, they need to light a fire underneath them if they want to go into playoffs in a great position and playing good hockey. And I mean, with a sweep this weekend, they could bump up to number 2 or even number 1 in MPI, depending on what Michigan and Michigan State do. So,
Right. Lincoln, what'd you see?
Yeah, I would I agree with Ian. I think we're seeing the same thing kind of over and over again. I'm happy with the fact that UND is able to this is a third period team, right? And that's great and all, but come tournament time, like you gotta if you don't play the first 20 minutes and then I guess first 40 on top, like I don't see them being able to come back against a really good hockey team in the tournament that might put up 2 or 3 goals. Like that's when things get really tricky, and that's why this weekend series is going to be so interesting because Western's probably but they are probably the best team UND will play for the rest of the year until if they make the Frozen Four, arguably. Like I don't. This is probably the best team they will play. So I'm really curious to see how they play a full 60 minutes. When this team plays a full 60 minutes, I think they are the best team in the country. There's no doubt about that. But they just got to start better, put up some goals. I think, yeah, I mean, it's going to be in the tournament, like goals are, if you get scored on, and I know we'll probably go into this a little bit, but like just as a whole unit, as goaltending, as defensively, I think they just got to be a little bit sharper throughout their games too, because you got to be, if you run into a team like Michigan, they will score 6 goals on you, and that's at the end of the day, yeah, I think it comes down to just starting the right way, playing structured, and playing good on special teams too. I think is important.
yeah. I mean, we're what, plus 36 in the third period this year.
Yeah.
It's not, I mean, we're sure as hell not worried about finishing games. It's just a matter of can we start the right way? And that and I think the goaltending needs to tighten up a little bit. Um, you know, we get into it in a little bit, but we're averaging about 4 goals against a game in the last couple games, and just sloppy mistakes and dumb penalties. So,
Hmm.
I mean, we were churning very, very well. I want to say December and early January, and then just the past couple weeks we've looked a little off. But I mean, hopefully it's just being a little tired, and hopefully, I hate to say this, but not taking teams like St. Cloud and
Miami.
Miami is top level talent that you got to play the hardest against. I know that's not what the message is, but I'm hoping that that's just kind of the fluke that was going on.
Yeah,
Right.
and the NCHA always gets tougher at the end of the year too, which I think will prepare UND come tournament time. So I think that's another thing to keep in mind. But yeah, I agree.
Right. Yeah, for sure. Let's go into to our two Van Line submissions this week, both from Ryan Qualley. Thank you, Ryan, for your submissions. Next time we play them, Thorson needs to be stapled to the wall, and the boys got to tighten up, or I'm worried for Western Michigan. Penrose soon, question mark, with the eyes looking, you know what I mean. Hopefully. Um, yeah, I mean, well, we're gonna get into the Penrose. Look at the final look at the path of the Penrose here is that the UND closes in on it this weekend. Um, I'm not sure if St. Cloud and UND will play again. They might in the NCHC quarters, or not the quarters, but the NCHC tournament somewhere. It's possible, but it's probably unlikely. Um, yeah, let's look at the final path to Penrose. Obviously, UND to win a share of it just needs a point this weekend. If they get completely swept, then they don't win it, and Western will win it. There's apparently I didn't think I was asking Brad in the press box on Saturday, like, because I didn't do the math on it yet, but I was like, what happens if like UND and Western were to somehow win it in the same game? That would be crazy. How would they do that? How would they present the cup? And obviously he wasn't sure because it's never happened before. He never really have had a situation like that where they played each other in the same game and both won it. Obviously, only one time it's ever happened where they both shared it was Denver and UND in 2022. So UND just needs a point this weekend to get a share of it, and they need two to win it outright, right?
That's
Thinking?
correct, and it wouldn't be that Western would share it with us. It would be on the very off chance Denver shares it with us in case we take 1 point out of the weekend and Denver sweeps. That would put us both at 52. Um,
Yeah, I have
which
the
I
article
think
pulled
it
up
would
from
go to
Schloss.
us since we would have the goals advantage over Denver. Because
So you think
Western is
if
sitting in the exact same position that Denver is with 46. We take 1 point, that puts Western out at 51, which puts us up at, or would that put us? We're at 51 right now, right?
mm-hmm, I
Yeah,
believe
so that
so.
would put Western out if we even took 1 point. So it would be a matter of us and Denver.
Yeah, we get one seed if we just we get the one seed and the Penrose if we just get 1 point. We clinch the Penrose outright if we get two or more points this weekend. If UNE does not get a point, and Western Michigan will win at least a share of the Penrose and the number one seed in the NCH tournament because Western holds a tiebreaker over Denver. Uh, yep, it'll be handed out in Kalamazoo, and then there's the backup one in Denver. Backup Penrose Cup. If they win it, Denver cannot win the number one overall seed, but could share the Penrose Cup with UND if they do not if UND does not secure two or more points in Kalamazoo. Uh, kind of useless. Sorry. UND could finish first, second, or third in the standings. I think it's pretty inevitable though that UND is going to win the Penrose Cup. I mean, there's no way we don't get at least 2 points this weekend. I just don't think there's any way unless Hamden Slakinski just strips off all everyone's clothes at UND,
He,
all the
he's
players'
he,
clothes, and starts spanking them against the wall. Like I don't think there's any way.
he's got a 9-5 in his last 5 games, so
Oh God.
they're
He's
gonna have to.
capable of it.
Oh
Yeah,
boy.
I don't think Western will sweep UND, but if that were to happen, I would be surprised, but it wouldn't like shock me. I don't know.
Hmm.
Yeah, it could
And then
flip
there,
any direction this weekend. It could be
huh?
So it could go any direction this weekend. But I think it's going to be amazing hockey. I do think this could be a preview of the title matchup, depending on seeding. I mean, us being the third overall seed and then being fourth, that puts us on opposite sides of the bracket. And like it or not, Western is built like a title team. And with the potential of getting two of their star defensemen back in time for playoffs, they're going to be incredibly dangerous. So
Mhm.
I would I would say I would take that team over Michigan. Michigan State, I'm starting to have a little more belief in, but as an NCHC guy, I really do think this could be a preview for the title game.
Interesting take. Obviously, with 9 teams in the NCHC this year, one of them will just be eliminated after this weekend. So one team in the NCHC is playing their last 2 games of the year, and that is between Miami, CC, Arizona State, and Omaha. So one of them is playing their last game. Omaha is in last. Arizona State second last, a point ahead of Omaha. CC is 3 points ahead of Arizona State, and then Miami is tied with Colorado College as well. So could be able to go a lot of different ways. Uh,
It'd be very funny to see Greg Powers, AZ State, finish last in the conference this
bounced,
year.
just bounced from the lead, just bounced in the not even in the tournament at all. Yeah, so that's a look at the Penrose race. The last look of it, as UND tries to close in on what would be their sixth or seventh Penrose Cup, seventh. Let's see, 15, 16, 21. Uh, yeah, it'd be like or four. That'd be their sixth Penrose Cup, right?
Sounds right.
Wait, 3, 2. Yeah, they're sixth. No, no, it wouldn't be. It'd be their seventh because they won 3 in a row, didn't they? 2000, 2001. Yeah,
Yeah,
they won.
six,
It'd be their
seven.
seventh. Anyway, sorry guys. So let's go into a preview of UND at Western Michigan. So obviously UND and Western have not played yet this year. This is kind of a dream matchup right now, honestly. This is gonna be a great last weekend of the year. Kalamazoo, a great place to play. Jake Livanov is going to hear it all weekend. He's number 4. If you don't know, the Los Lunatics like to pick on number 4, whoever that is on any team. And Livanov scored the game winner in OT and let him hear it at the end of the weekend last year in Kalamazoo. So Western did not come here this year, and this is the battle for the Penrose Cup. So it's coming down the line here. UND, uh, yep, going to Kalamazoo. So North Dakota, the number 3 team in the country. In pairwise and pretty much all the rankings. They're 24, 7 and 1, 16, 5 and 1 in conference. They're 3.8 goals for, 2.3 goals against, 27.6 power play percentage is good for 7th in the country, 82% on the penalty kill, which is good for 20th in the country. They're 5th in the country in faceoffs at 60 or 54.2. They average 32.5 shots on goal, 23.4 shots against. They're 7-2 and 1 in their last 10 games. Averaging 4 goals for, 2.5 goals against. Uh, they are 3.66 goals against in their last 3 games. So a little bit of a rise compared to the rest of the rest of the 7. Uh, they're gonna be heading to Western Michigan, who is right below them at number 4, like you said, Lincoln. Um, they are 23, 8 and 1, so just one more loss than North Dakota. One more loss in conference play at 15, 6 and 1. They average 3.8 goals for, the same as UND, 2.3 goals against, same as UND. Their power play is quite a bit worse at 20.5%, which is good for 32nd in the country. 86.3% on the penalty kill, which is good for 7th, so a little bit better than North Dakota's. UND's going to have to capitalize as much as they can on the power play. 53.9% in face-offs, which is one spot ahead of North Dakota, or below North Dakota at 6. 34.1 shots on goal, 26.9 shots against, 7, 2 and 1 in their last 10, so the same as UND. 3.5 goals for, so half a goal for less than North Dakota in their last 10, and then 2.1 goals against, so zero point 0.4 goals against less than North Dakota in their last 10, and they are 1-3 1.33 goals against in their last three games. So Hampton Slukinski is just locked in right now. Uh, we got tail of the attendees here. Jan Spunar, 15-3-1, 1.87 goals against, 9.19 save percentage, which is 19th in the country. His goals against is second in the country. Captain Sakinski, 23-8-1, so significantly more wins, but a handful of more losses. Uh, 2.25 goals against, good for 19th in the country, and 916, which is 26th in the country. So great Tendy matchup. Obviously, Hampton's played more games. Hampton had a little bit of a rougher start to the season. Western has just come down the stretch heated. They're an absolute wagon right now. It's gonna be a tough weekend for UND. What do you guys see with that matchup?
It is going to be a battle of the Titans. It's pretty much an identical matchup in almost every way. I mean, I would give the nod to UND in terms of depth for forwards and defensemen, but I mean, these teams are built kind of the exact same way. They're running four lines at you. They're high octane, good on defense. I mean, I think it's going to come down to goaltending really, because I think both teams are going to be pretty fired up skating down the ice. Where Hammer has the nod, and this is exactly why he's doing a lot better right now, is that he's played every single game. So he's seen significantly more action and more pucks. And I kind of think that's what Spooner's been struggling with recently. It's just he doesn't have as much game experience. And so you're starting to see his glove side start to slack a little bit, which, I mean, Hammer kind of went through at the beginning of the year. And unfortunately, we're starting to see Spooner crack a little bit here at the end of the year, which is a little worrisome. But Homer's been there to back him up, which has been great.
Hmm.
It's going to be tough. It is going to be tough. And kind of like I said, these are two of the best teams in the country. They probably will be the two best teams in the country by the end of the season, just based on how they're playing and the competition they faced in the conference and prepping them for playoff time. So I mean, special teams is going to be interesting. Are we the better power play, a worse PK? They have a worse power play, a better PK. So perfectly matched up that way. Exact same records, exact same goal margin in the past few games, exact same face-off percentage. It is going to be a fun weekend of hockey.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would agree. I'm pretty excited. I don't know. Gosh, like I said, it's got NCAA tournament written literally all over it, and it is going to come down to the goaltending. I think at the end of the day here, you'd like to see a game where maybe I don't know, Spooner just absolutely shows why he's going to be the guy going forward here. And it just they got to play. UND's just got to play well defensively too. But I really don't know what's going to happen. I'm excited. It's going to be probably one of the best regular season matches we might ever get to witness. Just when you look at timing of the series, implications, it's going to be exciting. And yeah, like you said, Ian, it could be a possible national championship matchup. So, and that's the way they got to play it. So, yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah, talk about the stakes being high. Uh, like you guys said, just two great teams. This is their equivalent of Michigan State in the NCHC right now. Just the two top teams battling at it. Two top teams in the conference and two of the top four teams in the country. Just gonna juke it out. Obviously, Western gets the last change being at home. We'll see how that affects it. UND really just needs to come away. I think it'll be a split, honestly. I don't know. It depends on how they can get past Hammer. They got to work them. I will say, to give people a little bit more hope, Hammer, let me just start by saying Hampton Sakinski is just an unbelievable goaltender. Unbelievable goaltender. He can be anybody. Obviously, they won the national championship last year. The last four games, he's got great stats in the last handful of games, but they haven't played. They've been playing the bottom feeder teams in the NCHC, so that can
Yep.
give you a little bit of hope. Not the most firepower that they're playing against. Like if they were to be playing Denver and Duluth and be putting up those numbers in the last three games, I'd be a little bit more concerned. Obviously, you got to take that with a grain of salt. Hampton's just really good, but UND finds ways to win They find ways to score, whether that's the upperclassmen or the tail end of the lineup. They find ways to get it past. Defensemen are rolling. Abram Weeb, I forgot to talk about. Uh, he is the back-to-back-to-back defenseman of the week. So Abram Weeb rolling right now. Hopefully he can continue to do that, and then we'll see how bad these boys want the Penrose when it gets down to the nitty gritty this weekend. Anyone
Yeah,
else got
and
it?
I mean,
Okay, sweet.
a sweep for either team, depending on what Michigan does. I don't think we're going to pass Michigan State for the number one spot, but that puts you a seed higher in the NCAA tournament, which gives you a little bit of an easier bracket to go against ideally. So it's going to be some hungry hockey. I think the game plan for both teams is going to be how fast can you get out. Western is obviously going to look at how we play in the third, and they're going to say if we can, be up 3 goals going in the third period, we're in good shape. I mean, anybody knows that if you're tied or down to UND in the third period, good luck. I don't think we've lost
Mm,
any game in the third period. I don't think we've been outscored in a single third period all year, besides, I think, the Minnesota game, which, 4 months ago. So I don't know. It's
right.
I'm a little worried just because Hammer can be lights out, but Hammer is also human. And we saw that at the beginning of the year. This Western team does take really dumb penalties. So being able to capitalize on that is going to be big. I've heard a lot from Western Michigan fans as well as, just reading their box scores that they take a lot of foolish penalties. But if you let them get rolling, they're going to run you over. And that's the biggest worry for UND is if they don't come out flying in the first period, they're going to get run over in the first. So
Be interesting to see what Smaby's got to say to him before the game. He's got some pretty electric speeches, so we'll see what happens. You guys want to do predictions here? Some score predictions. Okay. What Lincoln, you start here, buddy. What do you want to do for your Friday prediction?
I'm gonna do Friday 4-3 win UND, win the Penrose, and then Saturday. Shit. Oh man, 5-2 Western Michigan win on Saturday. I'll do that.
Okay. Ian, what do you got, buddy?
ooh, I'm going to go 2-3 overtime loss on Friday, 4-2
Can
win on Saturday with an empty netter.
you imagine losing in overtime and like celebrating the Penrose Cup?
Yeah, it would suck, but I think
They lose in overtime, they just start jumping off the bench after we lose and they're throwing their gloves and sticks off and
I don't think Western has been a very great Saturday night team this year. I think their last regulation loss was to Omaha, I think at home on a Friday night or on a Saturday night.
Hmm.
I could be wrong.
Did you have your prediction for Saturday? I didn't hear it if you said it. Sorry.
4-2 win with an empty netter.
Okay.
Let's see here.
I think UND. Well, the problem is UND's kind of lackluster on Fridays most of the time, last couple of weeks. So, ooh, I don't know.
It is so tough to
Maybe,
say. It's going to
yeah.
be it's going to be a good weekend of hockey.
Hmm.
It could just be that
I
we
don't
come
know
out
what
and
to.
fucking roll them like 6-0 like we did against Denver Friday and then lose
I don't.
Saturday. I
No, we're
mean,
not gonna do that in
really,
their
who
own
knows?
building. No. I'm gonna go. Uh, Let me go 3-1 loss on Friday, and then I'll go 4-2 win on Saturday. Or maybe I'll do 5-2 with an empty net. We'll see. We'll see what
It's so
happens.
tough to say.
It is too, dude. This kid, UND just needs to grab. Matt, watch him just not grab any points. So he fucking just fumble that Penrose Cup. Uh, No, I think that they'll win it somehow. It's just it could go either way. UND's obviously been relatively kind of mid on Fridays last couple weeks, and we beat Miami barely 1-0. Lost to St. Cloud in a shootout. Lost to Duluth in overtime. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see what happens, I guess. But
I mean, yeah, it's so tough, right? Because we were saying the same thing for the Denver series. Like, okay, these guys really have kind of struggled the last 2 weeks, and that was against I don't like Mercyhurst and who?
yeah,
Omaha?
I have a
Oh,
weird
not
feeling we
Omaha. Who did we play the weekend after Mercyhurst?
like CC, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But and then we came out and rolled them 5-0 and just like lit them up. It's so hard to say. I no disrespect to the guys, but they really do need to wake up for this one. And I think they will. But yeah, you're not going to win against this team playing the way you have the past 2 weeks.
Yeah,
And even against Duluth playing that way and taking stupid penalties in the first period, basically handing opportunities to
right.
Duluth or what would be Western. It's so tough to say.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think it's gonna be super interesting, man. I could totally see Jan just getting lit up for the first time on Friday or something. Hampton's just so good. You just got to find ways. If he's letting in 1.3 goals against a game the last couple of games, you just got to find a way to score at least three on him. If we can score three on him and let in hopefully less than 2 goals, we'll be okay. But we're gonna need some help on the D, uh, and our goalie's got to be sharp. I think one big takeaway from the Frozen Four in 2024, obviously Matt Davis led Denver to their national championship by being hot, just being extremely good. And one of the big takeaways from the U.S. gold medal game is Connor Hellebuyck. It literally only takes a hot goalie and decent play from your team. U.S. didn't even play that good, but Connor Hellebuyck just was hot and stood on his head and is just that good. And they won. They beat a generationally great team. That's why you got to be so mindful of it. Literally just takes a hot goalie to run into, and you're cooked. So, got to keep that in mind when going into Western because Hampton is arguably pretty hot right now. What do you guys think?
Yeah, he's been pretty good. I think he came back down to earth a little bit in the past couple of games. Not
What do
necessarily
you mean, bro? He's got the best stats he's had all year in the last couple games.
correct, but when you're playing CC and Arizona State and I guess it would be Miami in the last few games who, just offensively are not great teams. I don't know. I think like when they swept Western, he played out of his mind. I think I was really scared of him. This could be a weekend though where he cracks. I mean, this will be the best team offensively that Western has played, and likewise to us. It's so
Mm-hmm.
like, who knows? Hampton
God, we
could
should have
crap
had.
the bed, or he could shut us out twice, and you were just cooked. Like,
I was
and Spoonar could do the same thing.
gonna say we should have Wheeler on and had him see what their perspective, but he would have just shit on us. He would. He doesn't care. We should have
Yeah,
had someone else who's actually like gonna say if they're worried or not. Wheeler would not admit that if he's nervous. He'd just tell you, "No, we're gonna win."
I think Western is worried, and they have every right to be just as worried as we are about them. And
Hmm.
because we both have an understanding that these are both two teams that could very well win the title if they just heat up a little bit. So
Right. Yeah, we'll see what
who
happens.
knows? Who knows?
Anyone else got anything to add before we wrap it up here? Anything at all? Lincoln, not gonna give us a nice big smile. Got the American flag in the background. How patriotic. Come on, show some teeth. Good boy. Anyway, sorry, I didn't mean to say good boy like that. My bad. Anyway, I'm sorry, Lincoln. I'm
As
so
long as our
sorry.
Canadians don't lose and say that you be the judge of who's the better team today.
Yeah, Dylan James owes me $20 after that. It's gonna be pretty sweet. I think one of the Canadian coworkers I had at work left after halfway through Monday because he didn't want to be around everything. I walked into work and I looked over at him while I was walking by. I was grinning at him, and then he just took his headphones out. He's like, "I remember when I remember when I won my first gold." And I was like, I thought it was so funny. I started laughing so hard. Anyway, but congratulations again to USA. Hopefully UND wins a little bit of harbor this weekend themselves. So, uh, yeah, Jake Sanderson. Oh, Brock Nelson completes the trifecta for his family, winning the third generation of gold medals in his family,
from
along
Warroad.
with yep,
So
Dave Christian, also a UND alum, and then his other was it his great uncle and grandpa. I think we're both on the 1960 team, so good for him. Just if you haven't seen the highlights, I've been watching him every night before I go to bed since that game happened, and it just makes me sleep so much better. Um, what a win! Anyway, just want to take a second to thank you for listening to this episode of ND Ice. If you're a returner, we appreciate your support and loyalty to us. Just to we don't do these videos. Uh, we do these videos for you guys and because they're fun, and we appreciate you guys listening. And then if you are new, we hope you stick around and come back next week for the preview of the first round of the NCSU quarterfinals. So thanks again, and we hope to see you next week. Enjoy the hockey.